Hello, Jamie Polito here with the Design Defect, bringing you a gameplay and impressions video of the Elder Scrolls Legends online trading card game. While this is not a review, I am not going to be gentle with the Elder Scrolls Legends, and that's because I don't need to be. I love it. Now let me dip into my qualifications for posting this impressions video. I have spent an inordinate amount of time playing trading card games. While some will say that my collection of over 5,000 Magic the Gathering cards only makes me a rookie, I've been collecting and honing my decks for about 25 years. While I'll fall out of the fold for extended periods of time, I'll always be drawn back in. I've also played on the PC and on my Android as well. I played Hearthstone for a while too. I've not dipped into the most recent Unguro update because I found that in order to be truly competitive, you either have to spend way too many hours grinding for a little bit of dust in order to make a card or two that is essential to your deck, or you spend cash, and I'm unwilling to spend any more time or money on that particular game. But that brings us to Legends, which is a perfect combination of the Magic 2015 online game and Hearthstone. It shamelessly borrows elements from both games to make arguably a vastly superior online trading card game. Similarities to Hearthstone include a gradually increasing mana pool, card creation elements, emoting by clicking on your avatar, and to a lesser extent, card combos. Legends borrows from Magic's superior story elements and avatar selection. In Legends, the player can choose from any of the main Elder Scroll races, each with their own racial attributes, and several avatars are contained within each race. Picking an avatar from a particular race increases the likelihood that the race will drop during story gameplay. It's the differences between these games that makes it a much more enjoyable game to play. The breadth of the avatar selection in Legends allows the player to truly take ownership of the story mode in a trading card game. The story is far from a shallow excuse to sit in a local tavern and play cards, and no, that's not a knock against Gwent. I love Gwent. The story provides some unique instances when a card in your deck will be eligible to an upgrade. The game will use the story to encourage you to decide whether you want to modify a card to add a +1/+1 stat boost to a card that's already in gameplay, or to turn the upgrading card into a banishment spell. These options will be melded into story gameplay. For example, you might be tasked with sparing or executing an individual, and the decision you choose determines the card's modifications. And I have come across a number of different card modifications during my gameplay. The decks that are available early in the story are larger in variety and allow for more diverse types of playstyle, which is much closer to the strategy involved in playing Magic the Gathering decks than Hearthstone's. Within each deck are several viable options for attack, as opposed to Hearthstone, which typically has only one viable option in any hand of cards. I often found myself mulling over the options while playing in Magic the Gathering, or especially in Legends, versus Hearthstone, where there was obviously only one correct card to choose at any given time. Another difference that allows for more nuanced gameplay is the lane system, which is sort of similar to Gwent in that you place cards in lanes, think Squirtile, and the placement gradually impacts the outcome. The two vertical lanes and the cards that can be used to attack in those lanes can only attack within those lanes that they are placed, except there is the possibility of cross-lane gameplay. It's this lane switching that adds a fun feature mechanically and a whole extra layer of strategy. An additional feature that I enjoy is the gem system. In a typical match, the individual players have 30 health each. Each time 5 points of health are removed from a player, a gem is activated and that player draws a random card from his deck. If I had to guess, this feature was added for a couple of reasons. The obvious one is that if a player is getting stomped, he has a chance to draw a card that could turn the game around, essentially encouraging a player to stick with an online game against a real opponent rather than pulling the plug on the match. If the card drawn has the prophecy ability, it is immediately put into play, potentially allowing a near instantaneous turnaround in gameplay. The other reason might be to limit the destructive power of players that dump an inordinate amount of cash into the game to pay to win, essentially. And this is just a theory that I have. But depending on the power of the opposing player's deck, this random card drawing occurring every 5 lost hit points might give the losing player an edge. However slim the chances are of actually pulling off a W if you are against an overpowered opponent. Now, this game would not be an Elder Scrolls without classes and attributes. You'll see cards based on strength, agility, wisdom, intelligence, and endurance. Decks can only consist of cards based on 2 attributes and a combination of neutral cards. And you'll see plenty of cards that are a callback to the archers, spell swords, and crusaders of old. I believe there are 10 classes total reflected in the types of cards that you might be able to collect and draw during your gameplay. For some players, here's the most important thing. The graphics are very good for a trading card game. I'd say that they are on par with some of the artwork for Magic the Gathering. Not to hate on Hearthstone too much, but it's definitely superior to that game. Oh, and a little side note before I go on, there are daily quests similar to other trading card games that you will see if you've played Hearthstone or any other number of trading card games. Here are some things that will turn some players off. A good bit of the content is locked behind a paywall already, even though the game has only been out for approximately a week. The Fall of the Dark Brotherhood story runs for $19.99, with individual acts from that particular story going for $7.99. The full bundle does come, though, with 40 exclusive cards to use in your decks. Now, granted, it's a free-to-play game, but as in all trading card games, new story content and decks will be added for years to come, and die-hard player could potentially end up dumping enough cash to buy a $60 game several times over. Also, there is a similar card building element to Hearthstone, which you can break down cards to get currency to make new cards, and the exchange rate of that breakdown to creation is also abysmal. And so there is a pay-to-win element which can be negated through a fair amount of grinding and daily quests. All that said, I've already dumped several hours into Legends and about $5. It's free to play, so I highly recommend checking it out. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And so here is some video of me handing it to some other guys that I played. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.
I bring reinforcements. I bring reinforcements. Do your work. I have him now. The forest is my strength and my courage. Chaos. I have you now.
My friend would like to say hello.
Do your worst. Chaos.
We stand united. There are ill winds this day.
My sword hand itches.
Tide turns.
You have my thanks.
Come at me!
Prepare yourself.